Good morning, Chicago Cubs fans, and happy holidays to you and your families as we take the day off to remember be grateful for all of those we get to be around on this amazing wintry day. My name is Steven Ryan, and welcome to today's edition of Cubs Daily. I'm going to keep it pretty short and sweet, ladies and gentlemen. We got one free agent update about a player the Cubs weren't necessarily connected to, but maybe they were going to make a trade for at the deadline. His name's Pete Fairbanks. He signs a one-year deal with the Miami Marlins for $13 million a year. He turned down an 11-year $1 million option with the Rays, moves down just a little bit off the coast, and goes to Miami for $2 more million a year. That's just a price that the Cubs just strictly are not going to pay. Again, but we've talked about this multiple times, right? We call it bargain bin hunting, all that other good stuff. But there is value. There is value. If you guys don't know, I like to collect cards, right? If you guys want to see here, I got my Aramis Ramirez Bowman Chrome rookie card. He's my favorite Cub of all time. So again, I go in the dollar bins all the time when I'm at the card shop, and there is tremendous value there, right? What someone doesn't notice could be really beneficial to you. And, the Cubs have been really, really good at that, and it's led to some good success. Now, obviously, it hasn't put us over the top in a long time, because the one time we saw the Cubs actually go be aggressive by signing the likes of John Lester, right? Signing the likes of Jason Hayward, even if it didn't work out in terms of contract value to statistical value in terms of numbers, we won a World Series, and we will take that every single time, obviously, because winning a World Series is what we're fans of, right? We are obviously tremendous fans of this organization, and we want to win another World Series. I think, the 2016 World Series was obviously the one to get the monkey off our back to break the curse, but it's time. I want another one. You guys want another one. So we did not get Pete Fairbanks, but hey, we're going to figure it out. We're going to piece this bullpen together. And, again, maybe Ben Brown develops into a player that we need for this bullpen, right? Maybe Porter Hodge comes back and can throw the cheddar like we need him to. So I trust the pitching lab here in Chicago. I think they're going to get the job done. So let's get to the good stuff, right? So, again, like I said, happy holidays to all of you who are out there celebrating today. I celebrate Christmas with my family, so Merry Christmas to all of you guys as well. So, again, let's get into it. I'm going to break out my Christmas list. This is going to be short. I'm giving you guys two lists, okay? 3 players each. Now, one list is going to be the realistic list. You see it right there on the tab. And then the other list is going to be what I like to call the Delulu list. It's just delusional. I don't know if you guys ever are on TikTok or anything like that, talking about my man Maxim Bandy. He is absolutely hysterical. You should go talk about. He talks about delusional people all the time, and he calls them Delulu. So I'm calling it my Delulu list. And when I say Delulu, I mean not just like ridiculous, right? Like I'm like, they're not going to trade for Aaron Judge. There's a somewhat like lineup a probability. It's very small. It's less than like a % of a chance I think it's going to happen, but there's like a pathway in my opinion. There's a pathway there, right? There's not a pathway for us to trade for Shohei Ohtani or trade for Aaron Judge in that sense. So before we get into these Christmas lists, one more time, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, continuing to show support on the channel. I want you guys to share your Christmas lists in the comments down below. It can be realistic. It can be delusional. I don't care. I want to hear some fun stuff. Let me get after it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 1K, and we are so close. We are going to hit that number very, very soon, and then some fun stuff will begin to happen, no doubt about it. So let's get into the Christmas list, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start off with my realistic list, okay? I don't have a graphic made, so you guys are just going to hear me talk from the dome. Again, this episode should be quick, and I want you guys to get back to your friends and family, watch some football, watch some basketball, whatever you guys may enjoy. So, 3 reasonable players I want the Cubs to sign / or trade for. I think number one is just the obvious, right? Tatsuya Imai. I think he's potentially the best starter that is available on the free agent market. He's probably going to cost us a healthy amount of the free agent salary that we have. We have roughly $40 million. If the Cubs can kind of get him for $20 to $25 million a year, I think that's going to be a really, really good deal. I don't know how many years we're going to be able to get him for, but I know Jed has done an excellent job with signing Japanese players to get him over to the franchise. So my number one is Tatsuya Imai. Imai, okay? That is a guy I would like to add to the club. Now, if we sign a guy like Tatsuya Imai, I think we're going to have to trade for the bat, right? I think we need a pitcher, and I think we need a bat, okay? So, if we sign Tatsuya Imai, we're going to trade for a bat. That bat that I would like to trade for is Ketel Marte. I think Ketel Marte would be an excellent addition to this Cubs lineup. Now, there's no connections or rumors to the Cubs getting him necessarily, but again, the Diamondbacks are exploring trades. They want starting pitching help at the major league level. We have a lot of that, right? We have Javier Assad, we have Ben Brown, we have Jordan Wicks. All these guys are ready for starting roles, right? I'm willing to even trade the likes of Matthew Boyd or Shota Imanaga to sweeten the deal. If they really just want starting pitching at the major league level, we can facilitate that. We have a lot of starters, right? So again, if we sign Tatsuya Imai, that's another guy that adds to that list. Go trade for Ketel Marte. Add some flexibility. We're going to have a lot of good stuff. There was a comment in yesterday's video talking about, if you get the likes of a Bichette or a Bregman, we have Shaw, we have Bichette, we have Swanson, we have Horner. We can kind of get those guys on a rotation, and, even with the DH spot, right, we can get days off, we can get spot starts, etc., etc. So go get Ketel Marte. He could play third. He could play second base. He could give guys spells. He could DH for us if we needed to. I think Ketel Marte would be an excellent addition to the staff. Now, for the inverse, right? So I'm actually going to give you guys 4 players, but this is what I'm thinking here. For the inverse, right? Let's say we sign a bat and then we have to trade for a pitcher, right? I would like to sign Bo Bichette. I think Bo Bichette is just awesome. I think he's a fantastic hitter. Obviously, his defense is not the greatest on earth, but again, I think we can figure that out with him. I think when you're playing in a winning environment, and again, Toronto's a winning environment. I'm not taking anything away from what he was doing in Toronto. I want that bat. I want that 311 batting average. I want that close to 20 home runs. I want that pedigree, right? He's got that. His father, Dante Bichette, raked in the big leagues. I want that pedigree here in Chicago, so I would sign Bo Bichette. And then the pitcher I would trade for would be Edward Cabrera of the Miami Marlins. I would love to add him to the rotation. I think pairing him with Cade Horton, lots of control over the next few years, would really help this Cubs roster develop into the future. Obviously, this year we're going to lose Boyd and Shota and Jameson Taillon. Again, maybe not lose. We might get an extension out of 1 or 2 of them. But again, they're all set to become free agents. And we're going to have to really retool this rotation. So we need to get young, cheap, controllable arms to solidify this roster into the future. Okay. That's the realistic list name, right? Those are 4 names the Cubs maybe not have been directly connected to, right? Bo Bichette, Ketel Marte. But again, those are good possibilities, right? Bo Bichette's a free agent. There's no reason the Cubs can't go talk to him or anything like that. Ketel Marte, the Diamondbacks are exploring trades for him, etc., etc. We've been connected with Edward Cabrera. And, of course, Tatsuya Imai, according to everyone in the league, were odds-on favorites to sign him. Let's get to the delusional list, okay? Let's get to the 3 delusional players I want us to go out and get, okay? Now, like I said, right, I caveated this, ladies and gentlemen. I caveated this. There is pathways for this to happen, okay? The path is not necessarily desirable, and it definitely brings a more all-in mindset, which we kind of know the Cubs don't operate on, right? They want to have sustained, quote-unquote, success. And by that, I mean they want to win 85 to 90 games. And that might be good to get in the playoffs one year, and it's not going to be good another year, etc., etc. 83 wins was good enough this year to get in the playoffs, right? And again, anything can happen. I don't like that. I don't like that they live by that mantra. But hey, it's reality. It's our reality. Now, let's talk about the delusional players the Cubs could go get to really help this team succeed right now. I think we all know the number one. And the number one's very, very obvious, okay? There's no reason the Cubs should not be picking up the phone and just seeing what this team would be interested from the Cubs, okay? His name's Tariq Skubal. He's the back-to-back AL Cy Young Award winner. I'm not saying the Tigers are trading him, but the Tigers do need to explore options if they're not going to be willing to pay him $400 million. The Cubs aren't necessarily willing to pay him $400 million either. Again, I think if the Cubs were to trade all these assets for him, an extension would already be in agreement. Those are just my thoughts on the situation. But number one, most importantly, most obviously, is Tariq Skubal. Add him to the club, okay? Tariq Skubal is an excellent get, in my opinion. Number two on that list. It's a different approach, no doubt about it, in my opinion. It's something a little different. I've talked about it on the channel before. Adley Rutschman, okay? Cheap, controllable catcher. Now, number one picks aren't necessarily cheap. I'm not going to say that they are. But go out and get that catcher of the future, right? We kind of got split duties at catching right now, which isn't necessarily the worst approach. I don't think it's a bad approach by any means. But I don't have any proof or, consistent data that kind of shows that, one catcher wins a World Series. But the World Series champions kind of have a consistent presence at the catching, right? Cubs kind of dilly-dally between Miguel Amaya and Carson Kelly, and they can get the job done, no doubt about it. But, if you look at the teams in the ALCS and the NLCS, right? The Dodgers, Will Smith, he started a majority of their games. William Contreras starts a majority of their games. In the AL, right? Cal Raleigh, MVP, he started a majority of those games for the Mariners. And then I think it's Alejandro Kirk for the Blue Jays. He started a majority of those games for the Blue Jays. So consistency behind the plate, right? Like it matters in my opinion. And if you remember the Giants dynasty of the early 2010s, Buster Posey, great consistent player behind the plate. You got Yadier and Molina, a legend at the catching position. Those guys just know how to manage a staff. And I just wouldn't mind getting a catcher that can manage the staff, play 140 games, 130 to 140 games, and just be a consistent presence in the lineup. And I think Adley Rutschman, obviously he has those injuries, but again, I don't think injuries are... I don't sit there and bank on injuries happening, right? I don't think they're just going to happen. Are people more prone to injuries? Absolutely. I'm not denying that. But again, I like Adley Rutschman. I think he's a hell of a ball player. Switch hitting catcher. I would definitely make the deal for him as Baltimore wants to bolster their rotation too, right? And they're committed to Bicello, who they just extended for 8 years on the roster. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. Now, this one isn't the most delusional. I mean, it might be the most delusional. Let's just be very, very frank. It's Fernando Tatis Jr. or Mason Miller. One of the two, okay? Or you pair... I've heard Mason Miller and Machado as well. Bottom line, the Padres are looking to unload. The Padres want to shed salary, and if the Cubs can contribute to that in any capacity, they can do that, right? Fernando Tatis Jr. would absolutely be the superstar in this lineup that we need. Manny Machado, if we were to pair him with Mason Miller, would get us that back-end closer and a very steady presence at third base. I know we want... And again, I would imagine that if we're trading for Mason Miller and Manny Machado, Matt Shaw would be a part of the deal. And again, I'm not totally against that. If we could get Mason Miller, 4 years of control of Mason Miller, pair him at the back end with Danny Palencia, that's a 7-inning ball game, ladies and gentlemen. You just got to get the lead done. And Manny Machado has proven more than enough times that his stick is big time in Major League Baseball. So that's my delusional list. I don't think it's going to happen. I give it a 0.01% chance. But again, ladies and gentlemen, drop your list down below. Whether it's realistic, whether it's delusional, make sure you clarify in the comments as well. Put them in parentheses. Say delusional, say, reasonable, etc., etc. I want to hear from you. So I hope you all have an absolutely sensational holiday. And guys and gals, just remember, tomorrow is Viewer Comment Friday. I will be doing another video. So please share your thoughts down below and let's have some fun in tomorrow's video as well. So I hope you all have an absolutely sensational holiday, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you.